Hey there friends and enemies, Joker here again, and today I wanted to go over all of the Wayfinder characters currently in the game, talking about which one you should be looking to craft first. You only have 3 starting options as far as when you begin the game, but then after that you're going to be chasing materials to craft the other ones down the line, and you can really focus on which one you might like the best. So first off, we've got the newest character, Venomous. She's a master chemist. She uses poisons to not only do damage over time, but also heal over time. And so that combination is very, very interesting and can be built into for some really fun gameplay. But it's really going to be something that if you don't want to play a pure healer or a pure tank or whatever the case may be, or a pure DPS, she might not be for you. Her playstyle is going to be just a little bit different from what you might be used to with some of the other characters. I just think in a group, as you're proceeding through dungeons and stuff, she's going to be extremely effective at the damage over time and also the healing over time against bosses and the like. So she's one that if you get any of the early access packs and you have the access to the reward tower, she will be craftable fairly early on. Then we've got Kairos. He's actually also available as a heroic version. He is very interesting because he is pretty much a DPS character using massive damage with his spells, and he's going to be one that I think a lot of people are going to be utilizing because he is going to be probably the best DPS in the game as it stands right now. He's got a bunch of really cool abilities. They almost look like darkness magic for the most part. His design is really cool. He looks like a wizard with a scythe, and overall his vibes are great. He's going to be probably one of the highest played characters. If you got the maximum tier of the Founders Packs, you will be able to have the heroic version, which is very, very expensive, and it's going to be something that's the only heroic character that is available for purchase in a Founders Pack or anything like that. Otherwise, the heroic versions are going to be available to earn in the game later on. So yeah, that's something that if you want him, that's the only way to get it, and it has to happen before the game exits early access. But heroic Kairos is going to be absolutely insane, and if you see it going around, you know you've got a whale on your squad. So he's very good. Like I said, base Kairos I think is going to be one of the most played characters in the game. Designed good, abilities good, all that kind of good stuff. So I'm really looking forward to getting hands-on with him, crafting him, and seeing how he plays. Then we've got Senja. She is a interesting one because she's going to focus on close combat, staggering foes, melee damage, all that kind of good stuff. And I really like her a lot because she is going to be essentially the barbarian of the group, pushing in and doing as much damage up close as possible, while also doing a bit of crowd control and essentially taunting enemies. So if you want a character who is going to be more of your melee brawl tank, that is where Senja is going to fall. And overall, her abilities are really cool. I think she's going to be one of the picks that is going to be right behind Kairos. Overall, she's not one you can start with. Unfortunately, you're going to have to chase down the crafting materials like you will with Kairos as well. And whereas Venomous, if you have the reward tower, you can actually get all of her craftable items within the reward tower, so it's almost like a guarantee that you'll get her eventually, whereas Kairos and Senja, you have to really search for their materials over the course of time. Just like whatever 2 of the starting characters you don't begin with, you'll have to look for their different crafting materials as well. So Senja, I think she's going to be really cool, and I'm really looking forward to her. Then there's Niss. She is essentially your typical thief rogue type character, and I think she's going to be the most popular of the 3 starting characters as well, just because her design is really cool, her abilities are really nice, and she's going to fit the playstyle of a lot of players. She is going to manipulate gloom to destroy her foes while darting around the battlefield. Her movement is great, her abilities and her damage is all very, very good. However, she's going to be probably the squishiest of the starting characters and also the most complex. So if you want to play a little bit more of an aggro movement type of character, she's going to be perfect for you. Highly recommend chasing her down, even if you don't start with her, because I think as the game goes on and as you're playing over the course of time, she's going to be one that's going to be a lot of fun, even if you main somebody else. And I'm really looking forward to getting hands on with her. I actually started with a different character, which I'll talk about in a second, but overall, I think she is one that I would be very, very excited to get hands-on with, regardless of what playstyle I enjoy, because of her abilities look like a lot of fun. Everything I've seen when I'm playing in dungeons with her as one of my teammates look like she is doing a lot of damage, and you can build her in very interesting ways using, like I said, movement, her abilities, and also just speed of attacks, which is really, really nice. So, yeah, she is probably going to be the most played, like I said, of all of the starting characters. But if you want to be a little bit different, you can go with what might be the least played of the starting characters, and that's Silo. I have barely seen him around. He is a character that uses gadgets and bombs to slow, ignite, or taunt enemies, able to combo his bombs for additional effect. His abilities allow him to stay effective even at range. He is going to be the most interesting of the characters, because I would not be surprised if he becomes meta later on as we get like raids and harder dungeons and the like, because of his versatility. But just, he has the least cool of all the designs. He is one of those characters who just doesn't stand out in any way. And I wouldn't be surprised if they modify or buff him down the line. It might not be something they do. We've seen with like Warframe. I know games like this where you unlock different classes, characters, whatever the case may be, frames in Warframe's case, they're a bit more hesitant to buff and nerf things to a degree because people have spent so long trying to earn them. But overall, I think Silo is a good character. I think a lot of people should be chasing him down because he will be useful. If you like to play a little bit more at range, he'll be really good. If you want to learn his combos with his grenades, I think it could be very nice to do. But overall, he's just going to be at the bottom of the rung for a lot of people. And then finally, my starting character, Wingrave. He is going to be a shield heal tank with a bit of melee mixed in. And overall, I love him. I think he's very good across the dungeon so far in the game, across a lot of different activities. Great teammate of a character. He is great solo as well because you can heal. You don't need to burn through your potions. And overall, he's going to be one of those characters that I highly recommend chasing down if you want to have a reliable tank on your team. I absolutely love him. He was the one that stood out the most to me when I was first looking at the game and really leaning into getting into Wayfinder as far as my very first character. And so, again, now you know all of the different characters, what they do, which ones you should be chasing. Highly recommend just exploring, trying to find the character that's going to fit your playstyle, unlocking them all over time. I think that's going to be the real end game early on in Wayfinder, so have fun doing that. And my name is Jopa. I hope you enjoyed the video. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, helps me out tremendously, shows you want to see more Wayfinder content from me going forward. I really do appreciate it. I hope you have a good one, and I'll catch you all later.